Welcome back to Becoming a Published Author is Fun. And if you don't understand that, it's just look up episode 8 and you will be able to understand. We are in episode 57 and we are looking at the antagonist. When we write a book, we have different characters. We have the hero or heroine. We also have the antagonist. So you have this character that is thrown up against your hero, and it makes your hero look better, and things of this nature. And we put a lot of thought into the development of that hero or heroine. But and we look into their past, and we see the good things and the bad things that may have shaped where they're at. But what about the antagonist? What do you know about the antagonist? Let's take a look. So, who or what is your antagonist? Your antagonist does not have to be a who. It can be a what, an event, an activity. It could be tragic, a tragic event. It could be something that is looming into your future. It may be something that's coming, and it doesn't even have to have been there yet, but you see it coming. It could be an earthquake. It could be anything. Will put your hero, bring your hero. That actually will make your hero stand up taller, stronger, and so forth. But the thing is, it can be a what. And we all face those kinds of things in real life. We not only face humans as an antagonist, but we face situations, events, and so forth that are blocks, they are obstacles, they oppose us. And so you need, when writing your story, I believe that it's important that your reader sees this antagonist not in just one dimension, but in multiple dimensions. Be a well-rounded understanding of just what makes that antagonist tick. Now that's not always true. Sometimes the antagonist, you as an author you may know it up here, but in your story you don't know that. You're telling the story along, and bit by bit, breadcrumb by breadcrumb, you're dropping clues until you get to the end of the story, and that's when you reveal who or the antagonist is. And so whether that antagonist is identified up front or in the end, you need to have the facts. You need to have something that will tell you about this person. And that's why I was referring to breadcrumbs. You drop a little hint here or there. You can drop them all at once. I wouldn't recommend that. I think it's better if you maybe drop some in the beginning, depending upon when you want to reveal who the character is. But let's say you're revealing who the character is right off the bat. Well, the development of them, you're dropping breadcrumbs, just like you are with the hero or the heroine. You don't tell everything about that hero up front. You drop things, you pull things out to help develop that character in the eyes of the reader. You want to do the same thing, but just not to the same extent as you did for the hero or heroine. So, how much thought have you put in to developing that antagonist? Is it just, say the antagonist is Bob, or Bobby, either way. And so, how much thought have you put into Bob? What does he look like? What color is his hair, or does he have hair? Is he tall, short, thin, fat? What? So you bring these things out, not just the physical, but you dive a little bit deeper, and you can bring out some traits that they have. Look at this. This is just a touch of what you can do. I'm looking on the idea of of a trait that involves love. Love parents. Maybe the antagonist loves a mother, or loves the father, or loves both. And so, and what happens there? You can actually bring out something good, positive, or negative that the parents did that impacted that antagonist. Maybe that antagonist has a child, or maybe he sees a child in the neighborhood who impresses him or her to the point that they have an affection for that child, or even a fear of a parent, fear of a child. There's all sorts of emotions that you can play with and explore and see how they work in your story. So that's part of developing the character. Is there a love interest of any type? How about this? A pet. Not another human being, but a pet. Now, one of the James Bond movies, that there was a character that appeared in several of them, and he had a pet, a cat, a very white cat. And I think the cat was just about as evil as he was. But the thing is, I can picture in my mind that character sitting there just stroking that cat, even while he's being evil in his thoughts in front of, he's stroking that cat. There was a relationship there between the two of them. Now, I don't remember us being able to hear the cat purring, but cats purr a lot when they get petted like that. So I can, and since one time my wife and I had a cat, I can picture in my mind how that relationship was. But it brought out a human side to a very evil person. Well, that adds to the story. It doesn't detract from it. It adds to it. And so that is something. Does your antagonist have a pet? Whether it be a cat, a dog, a snake? People have all sorts of things as pets nowadays. We have a little critter out down here we call an anoy. That's A-N-O-E. And it's a very small, think of a lizard, if you want to, very small lizard. And they're harmless, at least they've never harmed me. They'll get into the home, and I have to, if I can catch them and then release them, I do. But they're so fast, most of the time I can't catch them. And they end up dying because they can't get out. But the thing is, there's some people who have anoys as pets, believe it or not. And so there are all sorts of pets. And we have a problem down here in Florida where people have these exotic pets and then they release them into the wild, and all of a sudden they develop into a very serious problem here in Florida. And you start hearing of them, they go in to eradicate them because they become such a major problem. But this person has a pet, whatever that pet is. It shows a side of that antagonist that you may not have seen before. And that is always good to bring out. It may actually play a major part in your story. I've seen it in movies, and if it can happen in movies, it can happen in your stories. Where the hero or heroine uses that love for a pet, for instance, to get the person to surrender, confess, to do things that would not necessarily have happened otherwise. So the love of a pet, the love of a parent or of a child, and it doesn't have to be their own child, remember, it can be a neighborhood child. Are they helpful in any way? How about an antagonist that helps a little old lady cross the street? Isn't that worth noting? Isn't that bring a side to that character that you didn't see before? Up until that person, all you saw was an evil person, and now here he goes and helps a little old lady cross the street. Why? Perhaps it's just simply because that's the way he was raised, to think that way, to do this, or might be another reason. But it's a little minor thing in his life that he does without even thinking, or she does without anything, for that matter. But the antagonist does things without thinking, and it reflects upon them a little bit. Makes you have a little bit softer opinion of them than maybe you did before. So it can be just simple that as helping a little old lady cross the street or a little old man cross the street. It can be stopping. They see an accident and they stop. They pull over and help out. They're not doing it for any personal gain. They're sincerely concerned, and they pull over and help out that person. It can really throw off a reader a little bit. So say you have a mystery, and that reader is starting to get very suspicious of this person, and then he does something like that. Now that might be something that's just simply a characteristic of his, but the reader thinking, well, wait a minute, how can somebody who cares like that do this? Maybe I'm wrong. And so it's one of those breadcrumbs that you drop. And it can be a misleading breadcrumb, or it could be a clue to the eventual solution. You just never know as that happens. And you may see it one way at the time that happens, and later on when you're looking back, you see that as a clue. And so being helpful to a little old lady, little old man, to a child, to somebody in a car accident, and anything of that nature. It is just simply something that adds to the story. Now, don't add to the story if it doesn't have any value whatsoever. Now, what I'm saying is there's value in seeing that trait. If that's what you want it to be, just a trait that people see that softens their view a little bit, that's fine. But if you're just throwing something out there with no rhyme or reason for it, not even an idea of showing a good side or anything, then don't do that. You want to put these little nuggets, if you will, little breadcrumbs out there that will lead the reader to have a better appreciation for that antagonist. And so, like I said, it will make the story more interesting. It could actually, if there's more than one possibility of being who the antagonist is, that can really come in big time. So, but are they helpful? Do they love their parents or a child? Do they love a pet? Are they helpful? This comes down to this question right here. Have you developed the character, the antagonistic character? And you developed the hero. You put a lot of thought into it. Put some thought into your antagonist. Don't make your antagonist better than your hero, although that antagonist could be better in some ways. And that in itself creates a conflict. Maybe the hero was resentful of that character because that character beats him or beats her in a certain game, be it a card game, a lawn game, any kind of game, or some kind of work or achievement. That can create conflict. And so, but that's also a character trait that helps develop your understanding of that character. The more you understand this character, the antagonist, the more you're going to understand what's happening between the hero or heroine and that antagonist. That's it for today. I hope this has been helpful to you. Spend some time investing some thought in developing that character so that your reader has a better appreciation for the story itself. I'll see you in the next episode.